Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be this Johnson Century 2000. And as far as I know, this will be the end of my Johnson Century Reel videos. This one actually appears to be much better than the 225 that I did before. It just feels like a much more substantial reel. It also has this very weird feature in the front. When you've got on a cast, you flip it in or retrieve a fish, you put it in this configuration. When you're bait fishing for fish, you set it into this configuration. And what it's supposed to do is, as the line goes around, it's supposed to kind of cause it to twitch, causing your bait to twitch in the water. I don't know how well that works. I might even take it out and try it once or twice just to see how it feels. But anyway, that's supposed to be the idea behind it. We're going to start off by removing the cover, and you can take a quick look inside to see all that is just a plastic piece that slides around inside there, see? And that's all it does. So there's not much to that. It's an interesting feature, but there's not much to it. All right, we're going to take the the rotor nut off. I keep grabbing that wrong screwdriver. There we go. All right, we're going to remove the rotor nut. Set it over to the side. Let's take the rotor off and take a look at it. Okay, rotor's nice and clean. And I don't know if this is black anodized or black paint. It appears that it's anodized. It's a good quality looking part, except for the fact that this part's plastic, which I've told you guys how I felt about that. But here it is. This is a 23-year-old reel, and there's no sign of wear on that pin. So probably not too bad, huh? All right, let's go ahead and pop off the spool clip. Set it over to the side, and that looks exactly like the same spool clip that's in the Johnson Century 225. Oh, here's one of these cover pieces. I have got a whole box full of these things, and I didn't know what any of them went to. Well, now I know. One of them goes on this reel here. And we're going to take the spool off, set it to the side, and we are ready at that point to take off the handle. And I believe we're going to start that procedure by popping off an end cap here. And that's exactly how it works. Okay, with that off, we remove this nut, and let's see if it's a 10. It is a 10, and it's tight too. Somebody did not want that to slide off. Okay, oh no, it's got corrosion in there. Oh, by the way, you can take the side cover off once you take the front cover off. Okay, let's wiggle the handle a little bit, see if we can get it to come up and off of there. Let's spray a little WD-40 on there and take a brush to it. It's got some corrosion on there. All right, now let's see if we can get it to come off. Well, sometimes with bait casters, you can walk them off by unscrewing the drag knob. Let's see if that'll work on this. It's working. There we go. That took the handle off. Really an odd shaped handle. Not sure what the intent was for making that. You have to make it kind of look cool, I guess. All right, take the drag knob off. Now under the drag knob, this part here is really looking like the other reels that we did. That Sabra 545 and the Century. Okay, it's got that off. And let's see if we can remove the axle. We can. That's got the axle shaft out. And that's going to allow us to take this entire assembly out as one piece. And this, yeah, that slides in there like that. And we'll take that all apart and put it back together in just a minute. I wanted to take a look at this. This thing claims to be a dual ball bearing reel. And I'm trying to figure out just exactly where the ball bearings are. It appears that there's a roller bearing set down inside there. And I'm not even going to try to take that out. Okay, let's clean that up. Yeah, see, that spins real nice in there. Let's see if this will pop out right here. No, I don't want to break that, so we're going to leave that alone. And I'm going to spray it with a little WD-40 just to clean the excess grease off right there. All right, overall, the reel's pretty nice and clean. And I will tell you that every single reel that I got from this estate sale, there was something wrong with it. It was like the guy who had them did not do his own maintenance, couldn't find anyone to maintain them. So as each reel failed, he just threw it into a milk crate and went and bought another reel. And it seems to be what's happened with this one. It just got dirty and stopped working properly. Not altogether, just stopped working properly. And he chucked it into the barrel and away he went, bought another one. All right, let's take a look at what we've got here. This is our drag assembly. Okay, we've got this copper sleeve, our brass. We've got this piece, which has been in all the rest of them. And we've got this anti-reverse assembly with the dog on it. And there's our drag washer, which we can take off by sliding this out like that. Then you can take the drag washer directly off. And this other one stayed inside here. And the best way to take these off is to slide a razor blade in under them if you really want to take them off. And this one does not appear that it wants to come off. Probably the best thing to have done would have been to just leave it alone. But I just want to make sure there wasn't corrosion up underneath this. There's not. It has been stuck there for a long time. But I can hit that with a little bit of steel wool and clean that up. And then on this side, really, you don't even have to clean that if you didn't want to. It's just old grease. But what I'm going to do is get that off of there because it doesn't need to be there. So we'll scrape that off. And you got to be careful not to break this little arm. See that little arm right there? See that little arm? You got to be careful not to break that arm. I've worked on 2 of these reels in the last week that had that little arm broken off, which means it doesn't really keep the reel from working. The reel will still work just fine. But when the drag goes out, it will not make a clicking sound. So try not to damage that. There. Okay. We've got a shim washer under here that we've got to make sure to put back. This is actually very nice and clean. It looks good, except for this side over here where the drag washer has to slide. And if this isn't good and clean, the drag washer won't be able to grip and slide like it's supposed to, so you'll have an uneven drag. All right, we got that cleaned up. Yeah. Okay. We got to clean the inside of this one. So we're going to start off taking our screwdriver, clean that out a little bit in there to get rid of the grease. Then I'm going to spray it with a little bit of WD-40 inside and use my brush to clean it out inside. At this point, we're ready to start assembling. Did I get my screwdriver back? All right, we start off with our crankshaft. We're going to put our drag washer on. Slide that down. And there's no need to oil or grease these, just leave them dry. Okay, once we got it to this point, we're going to put on the main gear. The main gear goes on like this. When it does, you got to watch this arm and make sure that arm goes down inside there. Don't let it get trapped up top, because it will bend and break it. Okay, once it's in there, it'll do that. I know you can barely hear that, but it's the drag sound that it makes when drag goes out. All right, with that done, we're going to put the last drag washer on. Then we're going to slide this part in, and there's only one way it will go on. It's got to look down inside there. See that little tab, that little point? That point has to go on this flat side right here. Otherwise, it won't slide on. With that done, slide this shim on. Then we're going to take this piece and put it on, and it has to match this one here. And if you put it on, you'll look at it, you'll see how they go. Okay, it only goes on one way because it's got a keyway and a flat. There we go, put it in like that, and see how this piece will slide inside here and catch to that. That's the way it goes. This one won't turn, this one will turn, but when it only goes so far and then it hits and locks. Okay, that's part of your drag. Okay, slide the sleeve back on. Before we do that, let's go ahead and put some grease on this. Slide the sleeve back on, and now let's grease the sleeve. Got that done. Slide it inside. Now, watch this little tag right here. See that little tag? Well, that tag has got to fit into that little hole right there. Okay, that's your anti-reverse. Okay, slide it, the sleeve in, get that little tag to go into that arm, and you're home free. Okay, now it will rotate this way, but when you go to back up, see how that whole mechanism right there rotates backwards? Okay, that's what stops it. Got that in place. We're going to slide on this D-ring washer like that. We're going to put on this tension washer with the wings facing out. Then, let me clean this thing up a little bit. All right, with that done, we're going to put this, hang on, we let it fall out. Now make sure that's arms in there, and make sure that's in there. Then you're ready to put this back on. I got it backwards. All right. Now, there we go, the sleeve slid out. That was my air compressor, allowing me to realize that I still hadn't turned it off yet. Okay, we've got that on. We're going to leave the handle off for right now. We've got the drag on, that's going to hold everything together. All right, we may have a problem here. I don't know if this is going to affect it or not. If you look at the axle shaft right here, say you got this plastic collar up here. Well, there's a portion of that plastic collar that's broken away. And I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. And we're not going to know until we put it in this reel and try it out. Doesn't seem that it will, but we won't know for sure because it's going to be riding right up against this plastic here. So I don't really think it's going to affect anything, but I don't really know until we try it out. Okay, we're going to push this, and I don't have a replacement part for that. Okay, I'm going to push this down and put some oil up underneath the pinion gear. And then we're going to exercise that a little bit. All right. And I'm going to spray a little bit of WD-40 on this back side here. and hit it just a little bit with my brush just to take out any grease that used to be there. And I'm going to wipe that off. And let's see if it slides. Yeah, that makes it slide a lot easier. All right, we're going to come back. All right, I had a little bit of company there for a few minutes, and I think we were working on this axle shaft, and I think we've about got it ready to go. Let's go ahead and put some grease on the pinion gear. And I think at that point we're ready to go ahead, put some oil on the axle shaft itself and slide it back in. Oh, that's not broken away. That has to be, it's got a cutaway to be able to slip past the gear. So that's not broken. That's actually a cutaway. If you don't have it on that cut out point, see that cutaway? If you don't have that cutaway, you can't get past the gear to put this back in. So if you put if you put that up, it will not go past the gear. Let me blow that up so you can see it better. All right, there's the cutaway. See, it will not go past the gear, but rotate it around and put the cutout at the bottom, and it goes. There we go. Okay, learn something new. We've got that done. Let's zoom back out. And I think we are just about ready to put this back end cover on. We are. Okay. So we'll go ahead, let's put a little bit of grease on the end here, and let's go ahead at this point and grease the teeth on the main gear. Do not try to keep the grease from getting down inside so that it can't get on the drag washer. Here we go. I'll slide this back on. Like that. Okay, at that point, I think we're ready to put on our spool. And it's going to have, see this hole right here? That hole's going to go in over that post right there. Slide that in, rotate it around until it locks on that. Put this plastic cap on. Yeah, I wondered what those were for. I've got a bunch of those, only they're white. And let's go ahead and oil this. Put some oil on the spring and a little bit of oil on the pivot. And I'm going to put just a dab of oil right here where this has to slide on that white plastic right there. And we'll slide this in, align it on the flat, on the D. And I believe we're ready to put the rotor nut back on. Forgot something. Got to put the clip back on for the rotor. Curve side goes up like that. Put that back on. Put the rotor locking nut on. Okay, that's working well. All right, that done. We'll put the line through the front. Slide the cover on. down. There we go. And we're going to put the handle back on. Put the nut back on. Didn't think that took. Let's try it again. All right, this cap, if you look at the cap, it's got these little tags on each end. They're going to go over here on these sides. All right, so slip that in and see if we can snap it back down. There we go, like that. A little bit of oil in the handles. All right, let's see what we got. Well, so far I'm not impressed. Something ain't right. We're not grabbing. Okay, it's not dropping down. I did not get this on correctly. Okay, let's loosen it up, push the button out. There we go, like there. Did not get the nut on properly. There. Now the tag's coming out like it's supposed to, the pin. All right, now it should wind in, and it does. Hit the button, it comes out. Wind it. Let's see what we got for drag. We got pretty tight drag. There's our drag, and you can hear the clicker. And I'm going to be stripping the line off of this one. And again, this is going to be going out to the kids. One more reel done for the kids. If anybody knows any kids in the San Antonio area that would like a free rod and reel, contact me, and we can hook them up. That's one thing I definitely do, is I repair rods and reels for kids. So if anybody needs one, you just let me know. I think I might take this one out. I'm going to put new line on it. I think I'm going to take it out and try fishing it with this and see if that really has the effect that it's supposed to have. Let's flip it this way and see if it feels any different when you wind it in. Okay, so there you have the Johnson Century 2000. I'm assuming it came out in the year 2000. And I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me what it is you didn't like about the video. And hopefully it's something I can do something about. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. That's pretty much it. So for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels signing out.